Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome back to the Dave Palma Show. And with me in this episode, I have the author of Silence Whisper, Afarin Bellisario. Welcome to the Dave Palma Show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Very pleasure to have you on the show, as I do all the authors that comes on the show, or any guest that comes on the show, actually. From from what you can see from my show, it's quite varied and diverse. And yeah, you're from the Middle East originally, aren't you? Iran, aren't you?
Yes. I was born and raised in Tehran. Yes, right in the middle of Tehran. Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
But you're actually in the US now.
Yes.
So obviously there has been some issues out there, but I don't know if you want to talk politics or talk about mostly about your book. I don't know. You're more of an academic, really, but I've got a politics degree, so for me, you know, looking at it.
Yes, of course. I'm here to talk about my book, but my book has politics involved in it.
I mean, it does. Okay.
It's life, so how can we not speak of, you know, what affects us all?
Exactly. Well,
obviously non-partisan. You know, I'm an open person.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not affiliated with any political parties either. Having said that, it is more global politics that I look at anyway, you know, so, and from a human rights perspective and that kind of thing, you know, and even the United Nations could have their own issues, but at least they try and step in and do things. But, you know, that's another story for another day. Let's be more specific about you, because obviously there was these recent bombings in Iran, and my friend said that they didn't really say on the media. You know, the media can, I don't know, they can be biased, and even social media can be a little bit fake newsed up, as Donald Trump puts it, but I'm not really a fan of his either. It's just that it's things like you don't believe things that you Google all the time. You have to check it, double check it. That's why these podcasts are good, because, you know, interviews, that is, you know, you're talking straight. No, but it's usually photographs that are deep fake, you know, so, you know, I can finish. Yeah, there you go. I'm real as well. Right. Okay. So yeah, he told me that the embassy got bombed up, which I didn't know about. Is that right?
I don't know about that.
Okay. Well, don't get involved, because, you know, it can work out nasty on both sides, so that's not really. Let's move into why you moved away and what your life was like while you was in Iran and what happened.
So, of course, you know, well, that's a mystery to me what happened, but at any rate, I grew up in Tehran, and back then in the 60s and 70s, modicum of needs, but, you know, young women and the young people, and you know, they had lots of freedom. They could get dressed whatever they wanted to get dressed. There was censorship, obviously, on media and everything. But, you know, as I said, people had certain freedoms that they don't have today you know, unfortunately. I left, you know, pretty young days, and I had all the intentions in the world to go back and become one of the, you know, growing technocrats in Iran, and hopefully do something good for the country. Revolution happened, you know, big hostages were taken. I graduated in
when was that?
That was in 1980. I graduated in the United States in the May of 1980 when hostages were in Iran, and it was quite tense. And I was lucky because I stayed in the United States and I started a career there. And, you know, I was lucky enough to be part of, you know, the whole technology revolutions of the 80s and 90s. And
that's right. Yeah.
You know, I built a life in the United States, and some of my fellow country people didn't do that. They always hoped to go back and restart in Iran.
Yeah.
And more, of course, it turned out not to be feasible for many of us. So
Of course, yeah.
Right.
So you was actually a refugee, or you just fled the country?
No, I'm neither. I was in the United States as a student.
As a student, okay, yeah,
I was a student. So I was very lucky, as I said. I graduated in the United States. I had the choice of going back, or I had the choice of getting a green card. And and for the route of green card, and didn't go back to Iran. So so I said, a lot of people that I know had to flee, and they go over the mountains and a lot of things. Thank God I wasn't in that situation. So I'm a lucky person.
Yeah. No, that's good. Yeah. So that's what did you study when you was a student?
I studied mechanical engineer. I studied that. Yeah.
That's not politics, is it?
Massachusetts Institute of Technology, so-called MIT. So
yeah. Well, I suppose it's like me. I actually was a firefighter, so it was more fire engineering side of things, more technical rather than actually studying politics and academia. But I was really a political person, a political animal when I was a teenager, and even just before that, so it's something that was an interest, and then became involved with trade union and other things, social justice outside the workplace, and then just mature student wise. Yeah, just like yourself, I wrote a book and got a politics degree, and just doing other things now after retiring.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, and for me, coming from a technology standpoint, when you're young, you have this passion about technology and what is the latest and greatest thing? What's the newest little toy, cell phone, this, that, the other. But then you start thinking about it as you become more mature. I mean, of course, women never get old, but we get mature. As they get more mature, you think about what does the technology do to people? I mean, what does having connections to a device like this? I mean, I can't live with my device. I mean, when my device is lost in the house, I get panicky. So what does this technology do to us as people and as societies? And sometimes it's great. I can find my son or my husband or whatever with the touch of a button. At the same time, if my son is going to some other place that I don't want to know, that's a good thing. So there's all kinds of issues that comes. And as you mature and as you get away from the hype of technology, and I've been there for 30 years. I sold the hype. I bought into the hype.
Yeah.
You think about it. And then, of course, as an Iranian in diaspora, I always thought, we had this country that was so technologically advanced. We had cars and we had planes and we had phones and we had everything. So what happened? And the two of these together came together for me. The question, was there a connection between coming of the modernity to Iran? And I'm not saying modernity is not good. We all need modernity. As we need modernity, but sometimes modernity comes with something more, something with the outside power. And when it happens, then people have different reactions to it. Some take it and use it for good. Some rebel against it. And that's what happened in Iran. There's this chasm between technocrats and haves and have-nots, and, people who were not necessarily have-nots, but they were very traditionalist. So, everybody was thinking, what is the soul of Iran? What is being Iranian means? I know, like, for example, half of my family is from now it's Azerbaijan. So
Azerbaijan. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm half Turkish. And I know that, for example, there's this about Turkishness in law. I mean, who knows what Turkishness is? Am I, being half Turkish doesn't mean that I am, not part of Turkey. I don't.
Yeah.
It's like, we struggle, as people coming from, non-Europeans, non-Americans, we struggle with this national identity. And I think that happened in Iran over a long period of time. And finally, broke up into going to the total opposite. Khomeini came into it and everybody became Islamist, and Islam was never, it was everybody, there were tolerance. It was not the militancy that you see in Iran today. And this militancy is sort of forcing women to wear chador, trying to take the country back many hundreds of years. Of course, that doesn't work. But I'm a curious person. So I looked at it and I researched it. The way you are an engineer, you firefighters are engineers. Then you're solving problems day in and day out. And so I was thinking about what happened, so then I thought about writing a nonfiction about the changes in Iran and elsewhere, as I see. But then I decided, not that I decided. One morning I woke up and I had this idea of writing a novel, and that happening in the time of change in Iran. And, obviously the things that I learned throughout my growing up helped me, shape the book in the way it is today.
Wow, fantastic. That's a really good introduction leading up to your book there. I didn't need to say anything really.
No, you could. Oh, I'm a storyteller. I'll tell you.
I'm sure you're a speaker.
I'm a modern day Shahzad,
I'm wondering if you've done a TEDx speech yet, actually. I'm not sure.
No,
yet.
maybe I should.
You should do, yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting mix. Azerbaijan, just in case anyone doesn't know, it was a former Soviet place, but obviously probably more richer than Russia, and a little bit more moderate, actually. Russia's probably being a little bit of a naughty person compared to the rest of all the, states around, but Azerbaijan just gets on with it, and they're quite wealthy, and they've also got a good soccer team, I think, as well, So, yeah, not too bad. And Turkey is kind of 50% Europe, 50% Asia or the Middle East. So there too are more of a very advanced country as well. So, quite a mixture. But of course, Iran is, a kind of Middle East superpower, really, aren't they?
Today they are. Unfortunately, it is more military than,
Well, so is China, but China's not using their military power so much. I've been to Beijing. I've never been to Iran. I've met a few people in the UK that are Persian and Iran. And you're mixed Persian from what you've mentioned. And basically, I don't know. The country seems to be advanced. They're very advanced. When I was studying my politics degree, I met the Iranians that I met mostly. I met some outside afterwards when I finished the politics degree, but it seems to be that, well, unless you've been to the country, you don't know, you shouldn't give it a bad name so much. They've actually got a lot of, it's very modern there. It's very, there's a lot of things that are nice about the place, isn't there? It's the politics that's the issue, isn't it?
That's it. Well, the ruling class and politics is the issue, of course. People are kind. You still, I met a young gentleman American gentleman who had gone to Iran and was arrested, and he was
that does happen,
as a hostage, and had to be, I don't know, the government had to get involved and get him out. But even he was commenting on the fact that people are kind, they take you to their homes, they share their meals with you. So culture is, as I said, is friendly and accepting and tolerant. But, unfortunately, as I said, this chasm between the more traditionalist and more, modern people, if you will, have ended up, instead of moderating the country more and, being accepting of both sides, have become now this ruling of a minority, really, because I don't know, all the no one knows whether or not it's the polls that are being out of Iran is any correct polls or not. But there are lots of indications that a good majority of people want moderation. If they may want to go home and pray, and that's okay. I mean, I am all with it. Prayers is good.
Yeah.
But they would want to allow other people to not pray or not wear chador or not do this or not do that. So tolerance is part of culture. But unfortunately, we have a minority who has a specific, agenda in mind, and they're now ruling the country, and they're very brutal, and they're not afraid of anything. So it's a bad situation.
Yeah. Well, this very kindly leads us up to the book. The book is actually a novel, so that's quite interesting. But it is based on what we've been roughly talking about,
Yes.
politics of it. But tell us more about the book and where the book's coming from as a novel. Then.
Okay, sure. So the book is about this young lady, Gohar, from the early 20th century, just before World War I in 1908. It starts in 1908, 1909. And she's a defiant person. She doesn't listen, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad. She sings in a country that music is forbidden. And she goes up, she climbs the trees and she looks at, young men passing the street because, back in the old fashioned Iranian houses, and still in Middle East, you can see some examples. There's no windows to outside. So to shelter women from the sight of others and from keeping the women from looking at outside people. So she's curious. She wants to travel. She wants to see the world. And she, obviously at 14, she's married off to a politician who is 55, 40 years older than her. But, she doesn't lose hope. And she is, fate brings her to Tehran. She gets involved with the modernist and reformist people, more modern. And the way she sees it is that there are problems. But what she wants to do is she wants to bring modernity. She wants to bring factories. She wants to bring roads and trains and teachers and engineers and doctors. She doesn't particularly care for, she enjoys her gramophone and listening to music and that kind of, pleasures, if you will, of modern life. But at the same time, she sees the good that this modernization can do for her country. And that's the gist of the conflicts. But, in the middle, of course, she falls in love with somebody she's not supposed to. It's a young Russian reformist. And the reason that I came up with that is that my great grandfather was Russian.
Oh, okay. So all this stuff I was talking about.
This was not the story of my great grandparents.
No. But I suppose it's not from the Azerbaijan side of things, because obviously there's a lot. I've been to Moscow twice. And I met a lot of Azerbaijani people there. Mostly Ukrainians were there actually, but there was a lot of Azerbaijani people there as well, because it's on the border. But yeah, anyway, sorry, I don't want to interrupt.
That's between the two countries, and so that's the story evolves, and it's a love story as you pointed it out, and I think it's quite good. People have said they can't put it down. I mean, I think it's great, but there are other people who love the characters. Of course, I had an editor from United Kingdom.
Yeah, right.
She was a wonderful, wonderful mentor and editor for me because helped me because I'm an engineer. What do I know?
Exactly. I had an editor for my book as well who's, so it's a similar kind of thing, I had an editor and also an advisor for other things. She was more like a PR assistant, but she did a lot of writing, so editing books would have become easy, but mine wasn't a novel. Yeah, but yeah, go on. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Quite interesting then. Yeah. Well, I won't spoil the story because that's like spoiling the story of a film and then saying, oh, well, what happened at the end was blah, blah, blah. Oh, spoil it. I'm not going to go and watch it now, so we'll just maybe give a few little enticing things for our listeners to want to go out and buy the book. What would you say about the book?
Well, I would say what others say. One young lady who read it, who says that she read it on her way on metro. So, it's a fast read. It's not, it gets so it is entertaining. It's a fun book. But it also tells you a little bit about Iranian culture, about, the Nowruz holidays and the weddings and the good things and the, it is vividly tries to tell you the story. It's not highbrow. It's not lowbrow. It is something that people can take to the beach and read there or in the metro or in subway or think about, okay, there are other cultures, there are other people, there are, and then their stories are interesting. And this is how Iran was. And maybe part of it is still happening. And then I want people to think about, oh, well, maybe we should think more about people in that country and how there are some like us, they have many things in common with us. Think about commonality of humans and things of that sort. So I want people to buy the book for the pleasure of it and get a little bit more out of that as well. So that's what I would want them to.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
I think it is. I think it will. It feels like I've already gone out and bought it already. He's explaining it. They're all the place. They're all the place I'd want to read it anyway. And the beach and the subway. Yeah, the subway. We call it the tube here in the UK, in London actually. Yeah. Lots of people reading books there.
Everybody in the tube.
Yeah. And the subway in New York, so.
Yes, yes. And also, it's obviously, we want I'm trying very hard to get Waterstone in the UK to carry.
Oh, right. Okay.
So right now it is on Amazon, but hopefully soon enough, some bookstores in England would also start carrying it.
Yeah, I think that's the only major book store. They've got chains everywhere in the UK, but I think it's the only one that I don't see many others now. I mean, in London, you'll see other big names of bookstores, but it's not as widespread as Waterstones. Yeah.
Yeah. So very much, I'd like to communicate with folks in England, and thank you for having me.
No, it's just a pleasure. It really is a pleasure. And thank you very much for coming and sharing your book with my audience today. Yeah. Thanks very much for coming and sharing your book with my audience today.
Thank you. So that's okay.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening. And remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts. Or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.